What's up, Newsers? It's the Russian dude. Florida Panthers are opening their season today, so let's go Panthers. But for us, let's talk about this time whenever the S&P 500 rose 6,540%. And, well, why this number is crazy and why it matters, because when you take into consideration other factors, this actual increase is only a mere 600%. So in today's short video, we'll talk about the importance of investing and doing it right now, not waiting for the best moment to start investing, because the best moment, as very clever, very wise people already said thousands of times, the best time to invest is right now. And so yeah, long story short, according to this graph, as you can see, since 1967, the total growth of the stock market of the S&P 500 equals 6,540%. Which is like, well, these are huge numbers to say the least. It's just extraordinary numbers. If this will be the real numbers, well, everyone will be invest, the stock market will be a bubble, economic conditions will be unsustainable. That is why the real growth, whenever taking inflation into consideration, the very real net gain of the very same S&P 500% growth from the very same 1967 is only mere 600%. So this is exactly how this inflation, which every single person does not even feel that much doing their day-to-day activities, it only makes sense when you see in the retrospect whenever the eggs used to cost like a couple of dollars and now they're $1,000 or something like this. This is exactly when you start feeling the effects of the inflation, and this is a perfect representation how inflation affects the stock market gains as well. As you can see, reducing the gains more than 10 times. Like mentioned previously, one of the main goals of this video is to show that people, you simply do not need to just wait for the perfect opportunity to keep the money under the pillow, to keep the money in the jar or things like this, because eventually all the inflation eats all these savings. Something what you could have spent $100 maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago do not worth exactly the same money, not even close. The inflation, whenever people complain about it, nobody likes inflation, everyone wants to make the same money and being able to buy same stuff, but in fact inflation is relatively useful as long as obviously inflation is under the control. And for example, in America the target inflation is 2%. So why this matters? Exactly the same reason why you should not keep money and do nothing with it. Inflation promotes the economic activity from the people. Inflation makes people spend money instead of just storing them waiting for the better times. Because people do understand that if a car or like some big purchase, a house, will cost exactly the same 30, 40, 50 years from now, they will not be buying houses relatively regular. I know that houses, like even better example is the car. People will not be buying cars every 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Instead, people will be like, okay, I'm just gonna save enough money, buy my favorite car, which I always wanted 15 years from now, and then I will drive this car for as long as it lasts. Well, in this case, yes, the automotive industry will not be as productive, it will not contribute to the economy, it will not pay as high taxes. All this basically applies to every single sector and industry of the economy, whether it be real estate, automotive, traveling, groceries, everything. So, long story short, as you can see, inflation forces the economic activity, whether people like it or not. And even though this concept is relatively simple and anyone who knows the basics of economics and finance already understands this, well, for many people this still does not make sense. People prefer not to have the inflation without thinking for the long-term consequences. The economic activity will be extremely low and countries will simply not be able to sustain their day-to-day activities. The taxes most likely, I'm assuming, will need to be higher in order to compensate those things which are not delivered to the government because of increased economic activity from the people. And speaking about investing, once again, yes, you cannot simply keep the money under the mattress and, well, just hope that the inflation will not eat your savings, because it will. Historically, for over 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 50, 100 plus years of the stock market, in the long-term perspective, as long as the US financial system do not collapse completely, investing in the stock market abroad indices will always make you money once again in the long-term perspective. This is much better than keeping money just in your nightstand, or even putting them in the bank accounts, in the saving accounts with like what 0.1% annual yields. This just does not make sense. Just trust the stock market, invest your money in the stock market, preferably in the broad indices or the entire stock market, or if you prefer to choose some individual companies. I'm not legally allowed you to suggest which ones to invest, and this is not also my priority, not my profile of investing strategy. I'm not much investing into individual companies. Most of my investment portfolio is in either REITs, ETFs, and similar broad market indices. Well, there I have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's episode and you want to see more videos like this, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching. See you tomorrow. Let's go Panthers!